You are warmly welcome to the Principles of Marketing class. We are going to look at Unit 3 Products. Under Unit 3, we are looking at Section 4, the Product Life Cycle. Product Life Cycle. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain what product life cycle is, describe the 4 stages of the product life cycle, describe the product strategies used by businesses to adjust to the product life cycle. The product life cycle. The product life cycle. A product life cycle consists of the stages through which a product passes from its birth stage or the introductory stage through to its death or abandonment state. A product life cycle consists of the stages through which a product passes from its birth or introduction state to its death or abandonment state. As every human being is given birth to, the person goes through the stages of life, and at a point in time, the person gets to his or her old age and leaves the earth quietly. The same happens to product. Product is given birth to into the market. It goes through series of stages. It goes through the introduction stage, the growth stage, the maturity stage where it will be very known in the market, then it will decline. Some people decide to take the product off the market and introduce a new set of designs or brands. Some also do well to modify the old products to make it a new product that would seem attractive to already existing customers and prospects. We will take the life stages one after the other and delve deeper into them. Sales and profits through a product life cycle. We are going to look at how sales and profits relate through a product life cycle. We will begin with the introduction stage. This is when the product is given birth to into the market, or this is when the product is being introduced into the market. At this stage, you realize that the product wouldn't have so many competitors, and also because it is new in the market, it may not necessarily record higher sales. Also, producers may not realize profit at this very stage because it is new into the market. At this stage, the producer would or the marketer would have to spend a lot of money on advertisements, on promotional activities, just to draw people's attention to the product. And at this stage, the marketer would have to pay attention to the quality nature of the product. Some people go to the extent of developing samples at this stage or prototype so that they can give it out for prospects to try before they could make a purchasing decision. A lot of work goes in here because the product is newly introduced into the market. And at the introductory stage, the marketer or the producer gives room for feedback so that the product will be modified to meet the needs of customers. Right after the introduction stage, the product gets to the growth stage. The growth stage. At this very stage, the product becomes recognized in the market. At this stage, the marketer begins to realize profit because sales increases at an increasing rate. So many people decide to buy the product because it has been advertised and it is well known by a lot of people. At the growth stage, competitors begin to set in. They begin to produce similar products. They begin to draw customers' attention to their products as well. So marketers should be aware that at this very stage, competitors begin to set in, even though sales increases at an increasing rate. Right from the growth stage, we get to the maturity stage. The maturity stage. At this very stage, you realize that sales get to the peak. Even though it increases, sales increases at a decreasing rate. It gets to the peak. Profit elements also get to the peak. At the maturity stage, more competitors set into the market. The product begins to strive with other competing products. From the maturity stage, the marketers would have to also give out a lot of the informational benefits or the benefits of the product. Marketers would have to assume that customers might have perhaps forgotten about the product, so they shouldn't assume that the product is well known, and because of that, promotional activities would be reduced. No, at this very stage, because there are lots of competitors which have set in, there will be the need for marketers to also run promotional activities to hit on the benefits of the product and to talk about the competent value or the value proposition of the product, just to attract customers' attention. Right from the maturity stage, the product gets to the declination stage, the decline stage. At the decline stage, you realize that the product begins to fade off from the market. There are some products that came to pass and we have never heard of them before. One day I was teaching someone, give an example that Obapatin tomato paste. We have some products which came and we can't find them in the market again. At the decline stage, the product begins to get off from the market because competitors have overshadowed the product. It can also be that there have been other innovative products which serve the same purpose. It can also be that there are other products which customers deem better than the said product. So at the declination stage, it is good for firms to play a defensive strategy. At this stage, it is advisable for marketing firms to come up with new products or to rebrand or redesign the product that will be appealing to the customers. During this stage, sales begins to drop and profits also comes down. The marketer doesn't realize profits enough because the volume of sales which is being recorded is mostly high at this stage. We will take them one after the other to explain better. The introduction stage. This is the first stage of the product life cycle, and it is called the introductory stage of a product. During this stage, sales rise slowly. The sales rise slowly. Competitors are very few. The product is subject to frequent technological improvements in production and distribution. Because it is at the introductory stage or the introduction stage, customers come up with feedbacks whereby the marketer bases on the feedback to improve production and also redesign the product to meet the needs of customers. Also, at this very stage, costs are high. The producer incurs so much cost, and experimental production costs are common. Since it is at the introduction stage, sometimes it's about try and error. You try this, you go out to sell, and customers say do it this way. sometimes you sell it out to customers, and during the usage process, there is something you would have to do. Customers bring the products back to you, and it goes back and forth. The producer realizes so much experimental production costs here because the product is still under the modification stage. Now, when a product leaves the introduction stage, it gets to the growth stage. The growth stage. When sales of a new product accelerates, it has entered the growth stage. Immediately, sales increases. It has entered the growth stage. At this very stage, early adopters, they come under the innovators. Early adopters are continuing to purchase the product, and large numbers of late adopters are buying the product for the very first time. With late adopters, they begin to purchase the product after the early adopters have set in. During this stage, production methods become established, with product improvements increasing quite frequently. Since the product has moved from the introduction stage to the growth stage, you realize that the production methods become established or standardized, and marketers get to know how things can be done in order to arrive at a quality product. Here, the number of firms in the market increases, softening prices and setting off a scramble for additional distribution outlets. Because the number of markets increases, like you get a lot of buyers to set in, and with this, so many of the buyers come in with their prices, and because it has moved from the introduction stage, the marketer would not incur a huge amount of cost during the production, and because of that, prices are mostly softened. Also, marketers try to create or look out for more retail outlets or distribution outlets so that they can get the product at vantage points in order for existing customers and potential customers to make a purchasing decision. Even though demand is increasing rapidly at the growth stage, profit might still be low because firms are spending heavily on product refinement or additional promotion to attain or retain a dominant position. One thing you should know is that at the growth stage, even though sales may be increasing, it is not that profit will still be low. It might still be low because the firm will plow back the profits, as in the firm will reinvest the profits into the business in order to spend it heavily on the product refinement to come up with a better product or add additional promotional activity in order to attain or retain a dominant position in the market. Right from the growth stage, we get to the maturity stage. The maturity stage. During the maturity stage, which is the third stage on the product life cycle, sales continue to increase at a declining rate, or it increases at a decreasing rate. Sales continue to increase at a decreasing rate. Competition becomes quite significant. So many competitors set in, forcing marginal producers and dealers out of the market. Because competitors set in during the maturity stage, marginal producers and dealers begin to get out of the market. The firm has several strategies to choose from, which includes, at the maturity stage, the firm may make a decision by choosing out of these strategies. 1. Intensifying brand promotion by heavy advertising the product to consumers. The firm would have to intensify brand promotion, that the firm would have to hit on positioning the product's brand in the minds of customers. Also, the firm can choose to proliferate, that is, extensively or radically, by offering more varieties in features, flavors, designs, packaging, and so on. At this stage, the firm might choose to add more varieties. Let's take our shito for instance. We used to prepare just one type, which was the fish shito. As time went on, you realize that everyone produces shito. What can we do to be very defensive? We came up with different flavors by introducing the beef, the goat, the mushroom, the chicken, the gizzard, which kind of attracts customers to the product. Also, the designs were being modified. The colors were carefully chosen. The writings on the label were well done for it to be eligible for customers to be able to read. Packaging was being developed whereby customers can easily carry the product around. Another decision that the firm can also take during the maturity stage is that they can increase product availability by getting into different channels and expanding points of sale services. It is very good to increase product availability because after you have promoted or have advertised on the product and a customer shows interest and wants to purchase the product, and you tell the customer that I am not around, so wait when I come back. Trust me, the customer wouldn't have that patience to wait. Therefore, there is a need for a marketer to leave the product at vantage points. The product availability needs to be increased so that at any point in time, the customer can make a purchasing decision. When a product is not being able to be kept in the market during this stage, it declines. That leads us to the decline stage. As time passes, consumer needs change and other companies introduce substitutes for the product. Consumer loyalties decline and so do sales and profits. At this stage, you may think that the consumer knows just your product and wouldn't switch for anything. Trust me, once there is introduction of better substitutes, consumers easily switch. They behave as if they have never had a good encounter with your product before. This is because it has reached the declining stage. For some products, the decline may be abrupt. For some products, the decline may be abrupt. Others may decline quite slowly. Some of the strategies that a firm might use in this stage are as follows. So you realize that with some products, the declining may be very fast. It moves quickly out of the market. And with other products too, it doesn't move quickly, but it moves out slowly. So at a point in time, you see one, at another point, you see one, but then by the time you realize, you don't see any at all. But with some products, by the time you realize it gets off the market, you search for some, you search for them, you never get them. Now, let us look at the strategies that a firm might use at the declining stage. 1. It is advisable for the firm to selectively cut down marketing efforts by narrowing target markets. It could be that the firm is serving a mass market or a very large market. When a product reaches the declining stage, it is advisable for the firm to narrow the target market. So if you used to serve everyone in Ghana, a marketer can only pay attention to those at the central region. The marketer can pay close attention to those at the greater Accra region because the product has gotten to the declining stage, and therefore more attention needs to be paid on the product. During this stage, there is a need for product adaptation. Here, the basic product is modified to give it greater appeal in different market segments. The basic product is modified to give it a greater appeal in different market segments. When you take Key Soap, for instance, Key Soap has been modified to give the product a greater appeal in different market segments. We have higher income earners Key Soap, and we have lower income earners Key Soap. We have the new Key Brilliance, and we have the Key Soap Bar. The buyer looks at his economic strength and make a decision. Key Soap used to be just one product for everyone, but now there has been some segmental differences whereby you know that this person can purchase this and that person can also purchase that. At this stage, there is a need for the marketer to reintroduce or revive the product through repackaging or repositioning. A marketer can revive the product or reintroduce the product by repackaging the product. Good Morning White Oats used to be in a folded paper. Now we have Good Morning White Oats in a very nice 4-shape box. We even have some in a container. So it should be repackaged or repositioned in the mind of customers. You can look out for the trending benefits of the product and hit on that when you are selling the product. So there's a need for product adaptation at this very stage. The product should be modified to give it a greater appeal in different market segments. If you realize that all these three have been put in place and it is still not working, sales continue to decrease, people are not patronizing the product, what you have to do as a marketer is to drop the line and go in for another product lines or product items. Is to drop the line, is to stop producing and rather look out for coming up with something that would meet the need of customers in the present day. Now, let us look at the marketing strategy implications of the product life cycle. We are going to first of all talk about the basic objectives of every stage of the life cycle, then look at the 4 P's or the marketing mix. So at the introduction stage, there is a need for the marketer to establish a market for the product type, persuade early adopters to buy. It is very important to establish a market for a product type. That is why people conduct marketing research before they can introduce a product. So at this stage, the main motive of the marketer should be about establishing a very good target market for the product you are coming up with. And also you persuade early adopters to purchase the product, because once they get the product, the other customers would also adopt the product as well. At the growth stage, the basic objective of the marketer should be that the marketer should look at building sales and market share, developing preference for brand. So at the growth stage, the marketers should envision building sales or increasing sales and also capturing the market share, a very greater part of the market share, and develop preference for the brand. Let customers have preference for the brand. At the maturity stage, the basic objective is to defend the brand share. The underlying word is defend the brand share of the market. Seek growth by luring customers from competitors. How can you lure customers from competitors? Sometimes it could be through discounts, sometimes it could be through offering samples, offering promotional activities, and that will let customers purchase your product instead of that of your competitors. At a declining stage, there's a need for the marketer to limit costs or seek ways to revive sales and profit. So you don't have to spend so much at a declining stage, because if you do spend so much, you will run at a loss. Therefore, there's a need for the marketer to revive sales and profit. When you look at the product at the introduction stage, there's a need for the marketer to come up with a very high quality, select high quality products, select a good brand, get a patent that is legally binded, and or a trademark protection whereby nobody can imitate you. At a growth stage, the product should also provide high quality, and there should be an additional services to enhance value proposition. Then also at the maturity stage, there is a need for marketers to improve quality, add features that would distinguish the brand from what competitors are offering in the market. Then during the declination stage, there is a need for the marketing firm to continue providing high quality to maintain brand's reputation, and also seek ways to make products new again. As in, look out for developing a new product out of the old one. With the pricing goals, with the pricing strategy dimension, at the introduction stage, it's often too high, to recover development costs, sometimes low to build demand rapidly. What happens at the introduction stage is that prices are often priced so high because of the development costs, sometimes low to build demand rapidly. It is not easy to introduce a product into the market. At the introduction stage, that is when the marketer incurs so much cost because you are trying to create a higher standard for the product. You are trying. Remember what I keep on saying, that there is nothing new under the sun. So once you are coming up with your product, you need to make sure that there are already existing products in the market, and as you introduce what is new, you need to make sure that you are drawing customers' attention to your product, and with that, a lot of costs will be incurred. At the growth stage, the pricing is somewhat high because of the heavy demand, but not high as compared to the introduction stage. At the maturity stage, prices become low, reflecting heavy competition. You realize that at this very stage, most competitors do set in. So once you don't price the product with a very lower price, people will switch to the product of your competitors. At the declining stage, prices are mostly low in order to get rid of the product. It is low to sell off remaining inventory or high to serve a niche market. Sometimes the products are being priced low so that the customer can get his or her hands off it. And sometimes what happens is that the products can be modified or revived so that the marketer would pay attention to a concentrated or a niche market. It will rather focus on serving few people in the market than focusing on everyone. And once you serve few people and the product quality is a premium one, it could be priced high and the customers will still buy. Place. At the introduction stage, the product is sold in limited number of distribution channels. During the growth stage, the product is sold in greater number of distribution channels to meet demand. However, during the maturity stage also, the product is sold at a greater number of channels and more incentives to resellers. The incentives can be in a form of discount, it can be in a form of sell 10, get 1 free. If you do that, people begin to push your product to customers. Then at the declining stage, limited number of distribution channels, because customers are not purchasing the product again and few people would accept the product to sell. No one would want to run at a loss, so wholesalers and retailers wouldn't want to purchase the product and run at a loss by when no one is coming around to purchase the product. So what happens is that it is only a number of people, it's only a few number of distribution channels or retail outlets that sell the product. Promotion. Under the introduction stage, when the product gets to the introduction stage, the marketer should aim at early adopters. Thus, messages should be designed to educate about the product type, the incentives such as the samples and the coupons. I keep on saying that samples helps a marketer to sell very well, because once the customer tries the product and realizes that it's a good product, the marketer would not talk so much, but the customer would purchase the product. Under the growth stage, the marketer should aim at wider audience. That is, the messages should be focused on brand benefits for consumer products. There is a need for the marketer should emphasize on the advertisement. Advertising and promotional activities should be conducted so that customers would be aware of the product. Under the maturity stage, messages should focus on the differentiating brand from its competitors. You know that under the maturity stage, competitors do set in, and even people come up with similar products with your packaging, your design, colors. They come up with similar products. What a marketer would have to do is to pay attention to the differentiating brand. That is, he should help the customer differentiate the brand from other competitors. If you don't do that, customers may end up purchasing competitors' products thinking your product was being purchased. At the declining stage, there is a need for marketers to incur minimal costs. That's to keep costs down. At the declining stage, when the product has left the market, marketers don't have to spend so much money during this time because it cannot be recouped. In summary, we have talked about the stages through which a product goes through, from its birth stage in market till its declination stage. Activities a marketer can undertake when it reaches its declination state have been elaborated on. Knowing this, marketing firms must continuously practice research and development to be able to meet customers at the point of their need. That is why I keep on saying research and development is not something you can conduct today and sleep for the rest of your life. Customers or consumers' taste and preference keeps changing. The world keeps on changing. Therefore, there's a need for marketers are obliged to conduct research and development to take feedback from customers so that at every point in time, you will know what customers expect from you. This brings us to the end of this session. Thank you very much and see you in the next session. Bye.